So, Coach, just sort of, again, having to adjust on the fly when an injury comes about, how do you think they did? Does it take a little while to sort of get into a rhythm, or with now Almani out?
Yeah, that probably wasn't our cleanest game by any means. But the thing I did like about the way we played tonight, I thought defensively, especially in the second half, when we were struggling a little bit to get any type of rhythm offensively, our defense kept us in the game so that when we finally got a little burst, now we were able to take a 10-point lead and stretch it out, up to 20. So, and that sometimes that's hard to do when you're not scoring and you're not getting anything from a flow standpoint, is to still stay with that type of energy defensively. So I was proud of the guys from that standpoint that we were able to guard for that full 40 minutes, especially that second half.
So Eduardo has to sort of step up and take a bigger role with Almani. How do you think he did with that?
Yeah, I thought he did good. I mean, he was. They did a lot of switching, keeps you kind of out of some rhythm. But I thought we were able to throw it in there some, and he was able to make plays either for himself, got fouled a few times, and then had a couple nice assists on the kickouts.
Anything serious for Amani?
I don't think so. I think he should be good.
Harris put in quality minutes tonight too when Amani going down. What can you say about him? Because we saw him in the Bahamas, he had to step up as well. What can you say about his performance?
It's a great luxury as a coach to have a guy that's that big and physical and experienced to as a third center. He's always preparing himself. He's ready to play, and I thought he came in and did a nice job again tonight. So just that physicality he's able to bring is a nice for us to throw in there, and know he's not going to just get overwhelmed on the block with that type of stuff.
Obviously, Mercyhurst is making the jump up. Are you impressed by how long they were able to hang around?
Yeah, they've watching them on film, you looked at some of their numbers and it was like on film it didn't look that way. They run really good stuff. They execute well. In a lot of the games they were getting the shots that they wanted to get. They just sometimes weren't always making them at as high a rate as probably they would like. But yeah, they did a nice job. They came in, competed hard, played hard, and played together, and it was a tough opponent to pull away from, just because on offense they're very deliberate and they're going to run side to side, run one action, then reset and run a second action. So the flow of the game gets really choppy, especially when you're not scoring.
You talked before in practice, you prepare for a little of whatever may happen. I mean, how deep do you prepare? I mean, do you take, okay, Monty's out, Tucker's out, Jaden's out, let's play 5 guards? How do you truly prepare?
We're running out of ideas, so it's getting harder. Yeah, I think it's just like we've talked to guys all the time. Like, it's the next man up. Have yourself ready. You never know when that opportunity is going to present itself. Like we said, hopefully Amani's not out a long time, but you still you feel like we have guys like Harris tonight. They're able to come in and give us some production and good minutes.
Now that you're through non-conference play, maybe an area or two that you still want to see growth from before the Big 12 begins?
Yeah, number one thing for us, or really two things, is the rebounding piece, the defensive rebounding. That's an area we have to get better at on that side of the ball. And then I still feel like we turn it over a little bit too much at times, so we'd like to cut down on that. But those two areas are probably the things when we come back we got to really continue to focus on and get better at as we get into Big 12 play.
Coach, obviously, like Greg was saying, obviously with the injuries, and Amani goes out, and I know you guys still run your sets and you still run your plays and stuff, but after Amani went out, did it suddenly become thinking like, okay, we've just got to play defense here and just, hold these guys down, and that's the key for us?
Yeah, I mean, we're trying to do that all the time, but offensively it just gets trickier because every time somebody moves into another spot, it shrinks the things you're allowed to do from a playbook standpoint. Amani's advantage a lot of times is his versatility, ability to step out and play and shoot and things, and Eduardo's more of a around the rim guy. So that eliminates all the packages where we're trying to get 5 out in space and stuff, because Eduardo's that's not his strength and his threat from there. So those are the type of things that make it a little challenging, from a coaching standpoint of, okay, what can we run with this lineup out there? And sometimes you got, 4 of the 5 guys know what to do, but one doesn't. But it's hard to execute something, when you're doing that. So sometimes you just got to go freelance a little bit more.
I'm just curious, like the play sheet that you have, I guess you keep in your back pocket. What's it look like I mean, is it half of it scratched off, or, I mean, what, I mean,
Like I said, it shrinks, with, with every injury or, when you got guys out right now, that playbooks looks a lot different than it did even 2 weeks ago.
What have you,
But we can always add,
Okay, all right.
what have you accomplished non-conference wise, and are you ready now for conference play? I mean, is there any more other than the tuning up that you really need to do?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it's even with the start of conference play, we are not a finished product by any means, and hopefully we're not a finished product until that last buzzer sounds, that we're continuing to grow and get better. But I think what I like the most, though, through non-conference play, is this team has grown with confidence. I think they believe in one another. They believe in what we're trying to do, and I think they're playing, especially defensively, to an identity that we want to have, and that's being tough and physical and playing aggressive, and then on offense, playing together and moving the ball. And we just got to continue to grow in all those areas.
Against Bethune-Cookman, you had a couple of guards distribute them from the high post, from the middle of the lane. Tonight you had some horn sets, and I know everybody's running horns now, but are those things that you've added recently, or are those things kind of there that you were hoping to get to this year?
We still have a lot of stuff that we haven't ran or haven't shown, just depending on the game. We've saved a decent amount for league play when we have those opportunities. But I mean, the general concept of what we're trying to get each guy in what position, I mean, we've been trying to do that. Now it's just, everybody's scouting, and so you want to have some new stuff that you can throw at people and be able to run some different things and get guys in spots. And like we've talked about, even in this short period of time, we've had to adjust, quite drastically. And some of the things we're trying to do, especially on offense, of how are we trying to get baskets, and where do we want guys to be in the best position to do that.
Coach, obviously, basically nobody was here last year, but is it meaningful at all to reach last year's win total already? I mean, just to have a better year?
I mean, like last year was last year, and our focus is on this year and what this team can do, and that'll continue to be our focus as we go forward. Like, what can this team do to maximize what they're capable of?
With your time at Creighton, have you talked to Coach McDermott about what Kansas has done so far this year? As that's your first Big 12 game, and especially going into Fog Allen Fieldhouse, it'll be a test.
Yeah, no, it will be a great test, and they played them early in the year, and they had a big win. So certainly someone that we'll talk to, now that we got some time to get ready for them. But they're a really good team, always have been. So it's a tough place to play. A big challenge, but certainly something when we get back, we have a few days to try to get ourselves ready for.
You mentioned you always want to be aggressive, but to avoid foul trouble when you're not real deep, how do you marry being aggressive but not picking up fouls? You have to be a little more guarded now when you don't have quite as much depth?
I mean, maybe at times, but I still think we can't play scared of fouling. We have to be smart. Like I talked to our guys, like physical but with discipline, and most of the time, if you do that over 40 minutes, as long as you don't do the little silly fouls, you can stay in the game. But that's something we want to be good at anyway. So, like we talked about with Amani before, a lot of Amani's foul trouble isn't from being physical. It's just little reaches and stuff like that he could avoid. And those are the type of habit things that we got to continue to just eliminate from him and his habits of so we're not in foul trouble.
Coach, you kind of mentioned it, but how big was defense in finally going on that run in the second half? It seemed like, I think it was Javon got the steal in like a dunk, and the crowd finally kind of got into it a little bit.
Yeah, we had two or three breakaways, dunks there that broke the game open, which was great because our half-court offense was not very enjoyable to watch. I don't know what you guys thought, but it sure wasn't from my vantage point. So it did free us up a little bit. And then I thought after that we started getting in the second half more movement. I thought in the first half it was just stuck. Everybody was standing around, and we weren't getting enough where they were having to chase us around.
Was today, I guess, kind of a good reminder that like you can't just roll the ball out and expect to beat somebody?
Yeah, I mean, every single night, like we talked about, we need to play to a certain way. And I thought defensively we did. I thought tonight we guarded fine. We played, tough enough on the defensive end. We just didn't get a lot going offensively. But that's also, you're going to have nights like that. And, so it was good to see our defense carry us a little bit.
Will this help you, having the time off yourself, clear your mind and stop thinking maybe about guys limping and struggling?
That might be hard to do when Kansas is your next opponent, so, yeah.
Maybe you get the game over up till tomorrow then.
Right. No, it'd be good. We're all they're looking forward to seeing some friends and family. I know my family and I are looking forward to doing the same.
Coach, thank you.
Yep. Thank you, everyone. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.